quick. Fine. Have instances for Mardona. Thus, Tataru Empire begins. Cool. 5 different. Viable. Clubs are nice. Don't really go with colors. Alright. The earrings, they're minimalist. I like them. Necklaces. double check. Unaware that line trade, but probably later. It's gonna be a repeat of Scala again. Eingeguckt.
Please, Ashal, please! You must let me have that treasure map!
What's all this about?
My mother and father were slaughtered by monsters. My baby sister, still too young to fend for herself. Can you spare us no kindness?
So, you hope to find your fortune? And what? You expect me to surrender my wares for pity's sake? What have you to offer in payment? As I thought. Come back when you've more than rags to your name. This is no mere treasure map. It is a guide to the vaults of Arzadal III, one of the great satraps of Radzat Han, and a direct descendant of Alzadal Khan.
A map to Alzadal's legacy?
So he says. A fake, I'd wager.
This is no fake. The parchment is marked with an arcane glyph of passage. You may find the ruins hidden in the bounty, but you won't be setting foot inside without this in your possession. A priceless artifact it is, discovered amongst the rubble in the aftermath of the final days, and lovingly restored by yours truly. This map is the key to fabulous riches, and I'll be the king of fools to simply give it away. Be glad I am no such king, boy. Your scrawny-eyed had never returned with that treasure alive.
Oh, cruel fate! Why must you tempt me with wealth I am powerless to claim? How I shall envy the one who purchases that precious map! Whatever they pay will be but pittance against the golden hoards they stand to uncover.
Justinian doing here?
What have you, sir? Fighting man of your stature would surely relish the challenge of recovering Alzadal's lost fortune.
A fortune, you say?
If I had but the strength to seize that treasure, my starving sister would never want for food.
I think I see where it's going. Justinian's backstory.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price? Well met, my friend. Someone is dressed for adventure. But why Favner of all places? Knowing you, I suspect there's more to your plans than sightseeing and shopping. Ruins beneath the Bounty. Curious. And here I've acquired a map to just such a site.
With that sale, I do believe I've earned the rest of the day off. Thank you for your patronage, sir, but if you'll excuse me.
You needn't mind us.
And now I fleece one of the heroes of the final days. Pray the sisters were looking elsewhere.
This map may or may not be genuine. Either way, we'll need a ship to find out for sure. Lest you misunderstand, I seek the treasure not for myself. If such a fortune truly exists, then it could help ease the struggles of those who lost their loved ones in the final days. I hope to do for Thavnir what you and Alphinaud did for the Alamegans when you recovered the Mad King's trove. Come now. You know Alphinaud needs little encouragement when it comes to recounting the tales of your shared exploits. Speaking of precocious lads, that boy in the bazaar was clearly an accomplice of the merchant. Suppose his role was to draw the attention of the crowd and add weight to the merchant's bold claims. Transparent act for the most part. It was not all mummery. The need to provide for his sister rang true enough. Thus, if some portion of the profits end up in that waif's pockets, then I will consider it money well spent, whether the map leads us to the vault or not. You are coming along, yes? I thought as much.
It was softy on the inside, Justinian.
Now, let's see about securing a vessel.
Justinian has been added to the Unending Codex. Based on where this is going, I had to guess. I think the Alliance Raid will probably unlock after, the answer's probably gonna unlock either, if I had to guess, probably after the dungeon. If this is the same sort of storyline as the 4.1 Wounds of Scala, it's probably when at the Alliance Raid. I'm gonna guess like the ruins under the bounty are gonna be related to the Alliance Raid somehow. Second here. One of my friends is starting up Dragon Song Ultimate group. I'd like to join. I want to get some experience in Ultimates, and this one definitely sounds like it'll be a tough one. But obviously it's going to depend on the timing of things. Because Ultimates is definitely a huge time commitment. It's not like ESO where you can learn a hard mode trial in like a day. And part of it is like you don't get a PTS in Final Fantasy, so it's like once it comes out, it's fresh. Everyone's on a fresh board, so to speak. You fool, I am the army. how you've kind of made it right. Go for the more practical. Will we get Kryl as a trust member of Tia and Kryl? I think Estinian sees a little bit of himself in that boy. The only reason why I think he's left. Earlier. I think they're. Oh, that's the. Probably want to do that at some point. We're. Trial 3, friend. Run. Everyone. Pretty sure the only way it's going to unlock after the MSQ quest with the only time that really makes.
Ah, Urgica, my good man.
I completely forgot. We need to do P4S for it.
Would you be so kind as to...
Oh, isn't this a pleasant surprise? I wish you had sent word ahead. I thought I was having visions for a moment there.
Raha and I have been compiling old records of the students' activities. We located several accounts in the archives of Numenon and added them to the collection we recovered from the Isle of Vow.
And judging by the progress we've made thus far, sorting this pile will keep us occupied for days to come. But what brings you to the Annex, my friend? Surely you haven't come all this way just to watch us shuffle dusty papers around? The treasure vault of Alzadal III.
And you're looking for companions to join you on this expedition. I would dearly love to accompany you, of course, but I'm afraid I'm committed to another task. On the subject of which I had hoped to ask for your assistance. Then again, it's not so urgent that it can't wait until you've returned.
I think how they spend time on Rahatia's animations. Well worth it.
You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
Are you sure? I'd hate to leave you short-handed.
I'm sure. Just try to be back before too many moons have passed.
Well, I guess we're off on another adventure already. Have you asked anyone else to come along? Then might I suggest we invite your Stola? Ever since the Scions disbanded, she spent most of her time cloistered within the Great Google Library, hoping to piece together a method to traverse the rift. It would seem, however, that whatever wisdom she sought there was not to be found. She arrived in Sharlayan the other day. We spoke briefly before she began her search of Numenon. Considering what you've told us of Alzadal's extraordinary feats, I do believe your Stola would be more than interested to hear what you have to say. Splendid! Then let us head to the archives at once.
Wait, before you go. I have another potential member to volunteer, if you've room to spare. Urianger. He sent the students a request for materials, you see. Treatises on the architecture of treasure vaults and the like. From what I can gather, the Loperites are looking to make improvements to their own creation, and wish to learn more about
Right,
how we
I
build
forgot
things down
Urianger
here.
is still playing babysitter to the Loperites.
So, why not take Urianger with you? Let him study Alzadal's legacy firsthand.
None can deny the benefit of seeing something with your own eyes. If our expedition leader has no objections, I say we extend Urianger an invitation once we've spoken with your Stola.
Well, that would round out the trust then, because I was wondering, like,
Safe travels, you two.
the only
But
way
don't
that
forget,
that sort of trust
I'd
would
still
work out
like your help
would be
with
if
that other matter I
Ustola was
mentioned.
could also be a healer. She was a conjurer in the past, but she's traditionally been DPS for trusts. So like, Raha is an all-around minion and Ustola DPS, so you would need another healer or tank. So you either be Thancred or Alphanel or Urianger.
Right. Then it's off to the library.
Raha. Right, I'll have it added. Codex. Ding. You fall down on top of all these books. Oh no, she's napping on the book.
I've never known Y'shtola to doze off in the middle of research before.
Custom rigging it. Pretty sure this is not standard players.
Close my eyes for one moment. Ow! How long have you two been here?
Not sure what is the right response. I don't think we just not gonna buy that.
Something to that effect. I must have been studying for 2-3 days straight before exhaustion finally claimed me.
Melbikote sitting
As you know,
animation is
I've
so
been
funny.
researching ways to travel from the source to one of its reflections. Well, looking for hints at least. I don't expect to find a simple set of instructions tucked away in some dark corner of the library. So I've been skimming through the stacks, hoping to uncover even a partial mention of any similar feats in the past. A means to travel between worlds exists, and you can be sure I will find a way to employ it. So I promised Runar, but 'twould seem I've set myself a nigh impossible task.
You needn't be so hard on yourself. The leap I made with the Crystal Tower was not achieved in an afternoon. It was the culmination of a collective effort spanning generations.
Oh, you think me discouraged? I assure you, 'tis quite the opposite. A daunting challenge and the time to sink my teeth into it. I feel like a fresh-faced student again.
A scholar in her element.
I wonder if they could use like the Void Scent and whatever portals they use to travel between the Void, the Source. Because the Void is the 13th collection.
Indeed. Was there something else you wish to ask?
But I guess the problem with that is I don't know how much lore there is behind Void Scent coming into the Source.
Alzadal is no minor figure in Harnish history, and much is known about his family.
I guess that would be the first step I would do if I was in your Stola shoes. I'd probably take a look at
of a descendant surviving a
Void
trip
Scent.
to another world. If those tales are true, then he may have left behind some clue as to how it was accomplished. An invitation to delve into one of the world's lingering mysteries. As if I could refuse. And whence do we embark upon this expedition?
Achiali, by ship. But before that, we thought to extend an invitation to Urianger as well. He was in Thalmazane, last we heard.
Then by all means, let us recruit him, and be on our way.
Oh, the poor mammoth's gotta clean up after us. Yeah, the hunt trains. Now that you can get upgrade match with the nuts, probably do a lot more hunt trains. I don't know, quite a few pieces. Well, tank is going to be the first one I upgrade since I run them static, but I want to upgrade alt jobs as well. Magic DPS is then be good. The only thing I really need is I need to get the Radiant neck instead of the Athenos neck for Summoner Black Mage. Everything else is just, oh, I guess I need Athenos pants too for Summoner Black. I think that's for all three actually.
Illustrious champion. Cloaked in the mantle of the common explorer, fame set aside in thy pursuit of simple adventure. I am told a new expedition is in the offing.
Yeah, where is Dad 2?
He left to attend to some personal errand, but should be returning ere long.
You've been keeping yourself busy, I trust?
True to our plan, Thancred and I embarked upon a pilgrimage of sorts, with an eye for gauging the state of those lands through which we passed. Travels were interrupted, however, by a request for aid from our befurred lunar allies. As you may recall, the Loporrits had been seeking new purpose for the moon, another role through which it might serve to benefit mankind. The Forum hath been working to advise them in this endeavor, but I return to offer mine own counsel.
And this has what to do with treasure vaults, exactly?
Ah, you have learned of my predicament from Mistress Kryl. I know not whence they acquired such knowledge, but the Loporrits now stand convinced that adventurers delight in treasure hunts. Thus, with their newly built wonderland of riches and mystery, do they hope to entice all manner of daring delvers to the moon? So earnest and innocent was their desire to bring joy to the world that I found myself powerless to refuse them my cooperation.
Not gonna lie, I mean, that's not a bad thing to do. If they can do it well.
But what of you, my friends? Why are you
sticking back to Smelton, for example? I mean, if they could probably repurpose Smelton for that.
Fascinating. This is indeed a most fortuitous opportunity. I should be honored to accept thine invitation. How long hath it been, I wonder, when last our actions were not impelled by fate or desperation?
Aye, though I cherish the Scion's accomplishments, 'tis pleasant to not have the weight of the world upon our shoulders for a change.
Counting Istinian, we number 5 now, yes? Without knowing what traps or perils await unwary feet, we may be wise to refrain from recruiting others.
I agree. Between us, we should have the skills to handle whatever situation may arise. Shall we be on our way?
What, no time to spare a word for the grizzled old bard?
All is well, I trust?
A wasted trip, I'm afraid. I'd hoped to catch up with a former mentor while you parleyed with the rabbits, but it seems our paths were not to cross. because we didn't travel by experimental aetheryte. It's astounding what a lack of nausea does for one's sense of well-being. In any case, as we made our way around Ilzabard, we saw that much of the continent was in various stages of chaos. A certain amount of disorder is to be expected. The final days are over, and the people no longer have a common threat binding them together. That's the thing with these fledgling troubles, eh? You need to keep an eye out, lest they mature into full-grown headaches. So, for what reason have so many esteemed personages seemed fit to gather? Beneath the waters of the Bounty, you say? I see you've already stolen away my traveling partner with the promise of unexplored ruins and scholarly glory.
Nay, 'tis not for mine own indulgence, but rather the fulfillment of my commitment to the Loporrits.
Ah, of course. And if you have Estinian rounding out your group, you'll likely have all the members you need.
Feeling left out? I could put in a good word for you, if you like.
We may have been released from our obligations, but I'll never be free of that merciless wit of yours, will I? In all seriousness, 'tis best I sit this one out. Too many former scions consorting with one another might be seen as a cause for concern in certain quarters. I'll return to my usual reconnaissance and scout out the situation in the Far East. Feel free to share if you come across any interesting revelations.
Far East.
Till we meet again.
Definitely remember Emmett Selk saying something about north of Othard. Is the Far East continent.
Shall we also hasten our departure? Sir Estinian will wonder what hath become of us.
Wonder if the 6.2 will bring us up to the north of Othard. That would be an interesting development. Boy, look at all these people, day one. I should probably go to Gold Saucer and get the new pod mount at some point. Hopefully I have enough MGP for it. Hopefully it's not a million. Guesses this is gonna be dungeon. Nah, we'll do it with trust. Lower. Now. Q. Should be interesting. Let's see if dungeons in this game are, you know, meant for casual players, so the difficult. Right, I'm on a warrior, so shouldn't be that bad. Also time to see, okay, they did change the animation. I still don't want Overpower to be a cone, to be honest. It's gonna go wall to wall. The thing I liked about the cone was that it like as you're running from wall to wall, you could hit everything behind you. The AoE is a little bit harder to do that. That doesn't look good. Oh, Sacred Soil is so much larger now. Probably. Bleed. Probably. bosses. I think we just gotta figure out where they're going now. Okay, so it's probably over here. Save the bard at least. They're gonna end up over there, so we're gonna end up here. I think I'll basic flash the bard, because at least the Reaper has Bloodbath. Warrior OP, yo. Don't need no healer. Warrior got you. Ah, okay. Looks like this. That's just Thavner based fans. That's what it looks like. Remember, it's an AoE column. Just good. Let's probably beat up the portal first. boss, probably. Alright, let's see what this boss's gimmick is. Chariots. Okay, nice. Figured. Big light probably. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a very, very small scope. It looks like there's only one thin slice, so that'll work out. Simple enough. Very rare. Sucking seed fella. Ah, the mimics. Who the boss? Very cool. Interesting. That's probably the boss to get. Usually at least one more mechanic on the boss. Maybe green? Yeah, that's what it is. Next to the boss, probably should have done that one instead. Oh, there it is. Always that simple. A really interesting mechanic. Well, like that spinning mechanic was definitely interesting. I enjoyed it. Pretty interesting take on a mechanic. Player column. Wonder what we'll find out.
What have we here?
'Tis not unlike a Hunnish alchemical furnace in design.
Well, there is one way we might find out.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Vritra! Oh, my apologies. Should I continue calling you Varshan?
You may address me as you wish. My nature is no longer a secret. Still, this is not a setting I imagined for our union. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
Great Vritra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
It was crafted by our alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
Curious figure we earlier.
Perhaps I should simply show you.
First he tells us not to touch it, and now he's going to touch it? Or is he going to give us? Oh. Or maybe he's the only one who, like, open it without doing it. He's of the first boot. Void portal.
I have lifted the seal, if only for the moment, by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure?
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
That's why I figured void gate. Jeez. Yes, void scent. Question is, what's the purpose of this? Void Gate. Clearly, Void Gates have caused nothing but trouble. So why did they create the Void Gate in the first place?
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a Void Gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory.
Mericidia. This Void Gate also lends credence to the theory that we still have to kill Xenos' Reaper Void Scent.
An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Mericidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities.
Ring Triad.
In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Void Scent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Indeed, I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me. I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Allag was dust, and the art to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat Han was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of Voidsent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. It was but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Radzat Han and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy siblings scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
Yep. Back in the Crystal Tower raids.
As did I. Were it not for Unei and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the Void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late. And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection. So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
First group is mad and rough. we already knew that, but still. Port. Finish up this quest and then some lunch. He's not letting this chance slip her by. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was the alliance raid. Guess that's the request Kryl had for us. I guess that vision at the beginning was probably was from the void, that 13th. Yeah, this definitely looks like the 13th. No, we killed the Cloud Darkness and destroyed her, I thought. Four elements: earth, fire, wind, water. Intriguing. Wonder who that knight is. Okay, it's 12:45, so it's time for lunch. I'll be back on in a few hours to finish up the MSQ and probably continue on with the Alliance raid at some point. But yeah, thanks for watching. I think this is, let me see here. No, I guess I'd have to go back to the in room to figure out quest-wise which one this is. But I think this is like halfway through the MSQ for 6.1. So yeah, probably got another like 4 or 5 quests left to do. But this is getting interesting. I wonder how the 13th and the Void will tie into the rest of this expansion. It looks like probably 0.2 and 0.3 are gonna be playing around with the Void and seeing what happens there. So yeah, should be interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat lunch and be back in an hour or two. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you guys later today.